The Battle of Courtrai saw Johann von Thielmann's kingdom of Saxony troops and a few Prussians encounter an Imperial French force under Nicolas Joseph Maison near Kortrijk. Believing the French to be outnumbered, Thielmann attacked only to find himself facing the bulk of Maison's First Corps. The War of the Sixth Coalition action ended in a rout of the Saxons, most of whom were under fire for the first time. Kortrijk is a city in Belgium southwest of Ghent. While Napoleon battled the main Allied armies of Karl Philipp, Prince of Schwarzenberg, and Gebhard Lebrecht von Blücher to the east of Paris, a secondary campaign was waged along the French-Belgium border to the north. Badly outnumbered by the coalition forces under Karl August, Grand Duke of Saxe-Weimar-Eisenach, Maison mounted a daring operation. He marched north from Lille to Antwerp, where he added one division from its French garrison to his army. Moving south again, he drubbed the aggressive Thielmann when the Saxon general tried to head him off. The Battle of Paris on the 30th of March and the subsequent abdication of Napoleon ended the war soon afterward. Background: Winter operations. On the 23rd of November 1813, Friedrich Wilhelm Freyr von Bülow's advance guard under Adolf Friedrich von Oppen crossed the border into the Netherlands. Bülow's 3rd Prussian Corps numbered 30,000 men and 96 field guns. On the 30th of November in the Battle of Arnhem, Bülow defeated Henri-François-Marie Charpentier's division, inflicting 1,500 casualties on the French while suffering losses of 600 killed and wounded. The Prussian general continued west and captured Utrecht on the 2nd of December. Combined with a Dutch revolt, Bülow's invasion liberated North Holland from the First French Empire very quickly. On the 4th of December, they were joined by an 8,000-man British expedition led by Thomas Graham, 1st Baron Lindach. Despite this promising start, the Allied effort in the Netherlands stalled when the Russian Corps commander Ferdinand von Wintzingerode refused to cooperate with Bülow in December. On the 21st of December 1813, Emperor Napoleon appointed Nicolas Joseph Maison to replace his previous commander in the Netherlands, Charles Mathieu Isidore Dekin. The emperor ordered that Antwerp be heavily fortified and that 30,000 French troops be assembled there. In fact, there were only 10,000 soldiers in Antwerp, and Napoleon's plans proved unrealistic. On the 11th of January 1814, Bülow scored a tactical victory over one of Maison's divisions in the Battle of Hoogstraten. 2 days later, the Prussians and a British brigade under Samuel Gibbs won a second clash over the French at Merksem. However, the strength of Antwerp's defences persuaded Bülow to leave an observation force and pull the bulk of his corps back to Breda. Graham had little choice but to follow suit. On the 13th of January, Wintzingerode's army corps began crossing the Rhine River. This move prompted Marshal Jacques MacDonald, who held the sector east of Maison, to withdraw to the southwest. Wintzingerode advanced very slowly, ostensibly to wait for the arrival of the 3rd German Corps of Karl August, Grand Duke of Saxe-Weimar-Eisenach. On the 1st of February, Maison abandoned Brussels, leaving François Roguet's division and 8,000 additional troops to defend Antwerp. With his remaining 4,133 soldiers, the French general retreated to Lille, anxious to join the main armies of Karl Philipp, Prince of Schwarzenberg, and Gebhard Lebrecht von Blücher. Bülow ordered a series of attacks on the fortress of Gorinchem, which were unsuccessful. The Prussian agreed to help Graham in a second attempt to seize Antwerp from 1 to 6 February. This failed and cost the Prussians 687 casualties. Bülow occupied Brussels on the 8th of February and left the Belgian theatre for France on the 18th of February. Leaving one brigade behind, he marched toward Laon with the remainder of the 3rd Prussian Corps. Antoine Guillaume Rampon surrendered Gorinchem to the Prussians on the 7th of February. spring operations. The 16th Military District, commanded by Antoine-François Brenier de Montmorin, was only able to provide 6,600 men for the army. The conscripts were poorly equipped and clothed, and Maison found it necessary to use most of them to man garrisons, leaving only 1,100 troops to reinforce his field force. With his weak forces at Lille, Maison faced a three-pronged attack by Johann von Thielmann on the 21st of March 1814. After some brisk fighting, two columns forced a crossing of the Marque River and thrust toward Lezen. The Saxons were counterattacked in front by Pierre Barrois' division, while Jean-Baptiste Solignac's infantry division and the cavalry moved to Saint-Hen and Mélantois. With the left flank threatened, the Saxon columns pulled back behind the Marque. Bertrand Pierre Castex's guard cavalry charged their enemies near Bouvines, capturing 60 and cutting down another 100. The Saxons withdrew to Tournai that evening, where they joined a third column which had marched as far as Orchies before being blocked by the 75th Line Infantry Regiment and 200 French cavalry. By late March 1814, 1st Corps numbered 7,103 soldiers, including 5,611 infantry, 1,015 cavalry and 477 gunners. Hoping to add more troops to his small corps, Maison ordered Antwerp's commander Lazare Carnot to hold Roguet's division ready to break out. When he heard that the Duke of Saxe-Weimar fully committed his forces to an attack on Maubeuge, Maison saw his opportunity. On the 25th of March, the 1st Corps sortied from Lille with Barrois' 2,971-strong 4th Young Guard Division, Solignac's 2,820-man infantry division, Castex's 990 cavalry, and Henri-Marie Lenoir with 477 artillerists and 21 guns. Early that day, Maison's force drove Major Friedrich von Hellwig's Freikorps from Menin. The French commander sent Raymond Pierre Penn's brigade east to Petergem so that the Allies might think his target was Oudenarde. Penn's soldiers marched 38 miles that day. On the 26th of March, Penn's brigade turned north and rejoined the main body of 1st Corps as its advanced guard. The French overran Dinze and appeared before Ghent at 2 p.m., completely surprising its defenders, a Belgian regiment in the process of formation, 200 Don Cossacks and 2 artillery pieces. The Cossacks courageously rode out to fight the French but were cut to pieces by the 2nd Guard Light Horse Lancer Regiment. The commander escaped, but most of his irregulars were captured or killed. The French broke into the city and rounded up the would-be Belgian soldiers as prisoners of war. Maison wisely decided not to shoot the Belgians as traitors, though they were still legally French citizens. Maison sent his chief of staff Colonel Villard from Ghent to Antwerp, escorted by 50 cavalrymen and 1 company of light infantry riding in wagons. That night Villard reached Antwerp with orders for Carnot to release Roguet's division and whatever lances and honor guards were available. On the 27th of March, Roguet's division left Antwerp and marched to Gottrode near Ghent. Maison hoped to persuade the Allies that he intended to attack Brussels via Aalst when he only wanted to get back to Lille safely. Altogether, 4,000 infantry, 260 cavalry and 14 guns were added to 1st Corps from the Antwerp garrison to increase its numbers to 9,700 foot soldiers, 1,360 horsemen and 35 cannon. Napoleon's war minister Henri-Jacques Guillaume Clark hoped that Carnot might draw 3,000 marines and sailors from Edouard Thomas Bergster. Missis's French squadron that was bottled up in the Scheldt. When Thielmann found out about Maison's capture of Ghent, he concentrated 5,000 men in 7 Saxon battalions at Oudenarde. Thielmann correctly deduced that the French maneuver was designed to reinforce First Corps, but his superior, the Duke of Saxe-Weimar, believed that Maison wanted to capture Brussels, a belief that the Frenchmen encouraged by spreading false rumors among the Belgians. Saxe-Weimar shifted Ludwig von Walmoden-Gimborne's division from Leuven to Aalst, where he concentrated 9,000 foot soldiers and 900 horsemen. Allied detachments reoccupied Kortrijk, Deinze and Heilbeke, while Hellwig's Freikorps was sent to observe Valenciennes and Condé-sur-le-Risco. The real danger to Maison remained Thielmann, who might cut off the French with his total force of 12,000 troops in 15 battalions and 500 cavalry. On the 30th of March, Maison abandoned Ghent, marching southwest along the Lys River with the main body of First Corps. To shield the movement, he sent Solignac's division and 1 squadron of the 2nd Guard Chasseurs à Cheval Regiment farther east to Petergem. At Deinze, the main body brushed aside Major Puckler's small force and continued to Kortrijk. The latter place was evacuated by some Prussian cavalry when the First Corps appeared. Battle. Finding that Maison evacuated Ghent, Thielmann moved southwest to Avelgem, hoping catch Solignac's division. He called in some dispersed troops and invited Walmoden to march to Oudenarde to help defeat the French. Thielmann's 2nd Brigade under Prince Paul von Württemberg took the main road from Avelgem, while Brause's 1st Brigade used a different route. At 6 a.m. on the 31st of March, Brause's brigade cleared the French outposts from Zwevegem. The 1st Battalion of the 1st Saxon Landwehr Regiment covered the right flank toward Heilbeke, while Hellwig's Freikorps covered the left flank in the direction of Belgium. The 2nd and 3rd Battalions of the Saxon Landwehr and 4 guns constituted the reserve, while the remainder of 1st Brigade formed the centre. While the 1st Brigade deployed, the 2nd Brigade arrived in Zwevegem. When Brause reported a French battle line in front of him, Thielmann and Prince Paul went forward to investigate. After an inspection, Thielmann waved his troops forward. The 2nd Brigade deployed with 2 1/2 battalions forward. In reserve were the 3rd Battalion of the 3rd Saxon Landwehr Regiment and the Schwarzburg Battalion on the Windmill Hill. Seeing his enemies approaching only from the direction of Oudenarde, Maison resolved to envelop both flanks. He ordered Solignac to move from Belgium to strike the Saxon left flank, while Barrois advanced from Heilbeke to turn the Saxon right flank. Roguet's division, supported by Castex's cavalry, would hold the centre, while the other divisions wheeled inward. The quality of Maison's troops was superior to their opponents. The French units consisted of veteran cadres filled up with conscripts, while the Saxon Landwehr had never been in battle before. Prince Paul deployed the 1st and 2nd Battalions of the 3rd Saxon Landwehr Regiment into a closed column with the Bernburg Battalion behind them, sending 5 companies of Saxons and 2 companies from the Schwarzburg Battalion ahead as skirmishes. Paul ordered an attack, apparently without specific orders. Maison responded by ordering a body of French skirmishers to hit Thielmann's left flank while sending 4 of Roguet's battalions forward, led by the 10th Tirailleur Regiment. The attack pressed back the 1st Battalion of the 1st Saxon Landwehr. By now a large portion of the Saxon force was deployed as skirmishers in an noisy musketry duel. When Thielmann finally realized he was engaged with the whole First Corps, he immediately ordered a retreat. The 2nd and 3rd Battalions of the 1st Saxon Landwehr were helped out of a difficult situation by a charge by the Saxon Hussars. As the divisions of Barrois and Solignac closed in from the flanks, the Saxon division lost cohesion. Jean-Luc Dariul's brigade led Barrois' attack while Penn's brigade led Solignac's advance. Castex led a cavalry charge by the 2nd Guard Chasseurs à Cheval which threw back the Saxon cuirassiers and got among the Saxon infantry. Thielmann's formations disintegrated, the individual soldiers scattering across the countryside. Either the 2nd or 3rd Battalion of the 3rd Saxon Landwehr was trapped against a wall and surrendered in a body. Dariul's brigade pursued as far as the hamlet of Kirchhoff and some panicked Saxons drowned while trying to swim across the Scheldt. Results: one authority gave French casualties as 24 officers and an estimated 800 men out of 7,500 infantry, 2,000 cavalry and 36 guns engaged. Saxon losses were listed as 695 killed and wounded and 1,213 men and 2 guns captured for a total of 1,908 casualties. The same authority stated that 3,800 men and 6 guns from the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th Saxon Landwehr regiments and 2 Russian Cossack polks were present. Another authority estimated French losses as 300 and reported several sets of Saxon losses. One account listed that the Saxons lost 255 killed, 440 wounded and 512 captured, a total of 1,207 casualties. A second that total losses were 1,900. A third that losses were about 1,100 and a fourth tally of Saxon losses as 800 to 900 men and 3 6-pound cannons. The 2nd and 3rd Battalions of the 3rd Saxon Landwehr were particularly hard hit. The two units had to be converged because the numbers shrank by at least 746 soldiers between the 25th of March and the 20th of April. Maison sent Solignac's division toward Tournai, followed by Rogue's division and the cavalry. While Barrois watched the road to Belgium, the French artillery bombarded the 2,000 Allied soldiers in Tournai as night fell. In fact, Maison's threat to Tournai was designed to distract his enemies until his slow-moving wagon train could reach Lille. During the day, Walmoden marched from Aalst to Oudenarde and sent a column under Heinrich Christoph von Lottam to reoccupy Ghent. When Lottam tried to seize Kortrijk, he bumped into the withdrawing Ghent garrison under Charles Louis Lalaring de Oudenarde and was compelled to fall back to Heilbeke. The Duke of Weimar directed Thielmann's small division toward Tournai, assigned Karl Christian Erdmann von Lecoq's division to occupy Mons, sent Walmoden to Lessines and placed his reserve in A. Maison was badly outnumbered and had little choice but to abandon Courtrai and withdraw to Lille. Maison next moved toward Valenciennes in order to disrupt the Allied supply line, reaching there on the 5th of April. That day he found out that Paris was occupied by the coalition. The French lost the Battle of Paris on the 30th of March and Napoleon abdicated on the 6th of April. Maison and Thielmann agreed to an armistice on the 7th of April and the fighting was over. Forces: French Order of Battle 1st Corps, General of Division Nicolas Joseph Maison Nafziger, George. The End of Empire, Napoleon's 1814 campaign. Solihull, UK, Keelian and Amp Company, pp. 363, 368, 710-711. ISBN 978-1-909982-96-3. Saxon Order of Battle Saxon Division, General Lieutenant Johann von Thielmann Nafziger, George. The End of Empire, Napoleon's 1814 campaign. Solihull, UK, Keelian and Amp Company, pp. 691 and Amp 712. ISBN 9781909982963.